It's the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show, brought to you by Stock Car Steel and Aluminum and SRI Supplies. Here's tonight's Speed 77 Radio Race Chaser Online Crew Chief, Tom Baker.
Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. It is our final show of the 2014 season, as hard as that is to believe. And we are really excited about doing it. We have got 6 guests tonight and 4 champions. My name is Tom Baker. I am your co-host for tonight, along with my cast of characters from the Speed 77 Race Chaser Online Roundtable. Jacob Seelman, the managing editor for Race Chaser Online. And Jacob, I don't think we could possibly have stacked this show any tighter. Do you?
Let's see. I can't think of a way we could have done it. I mean, we've got 6 guests tonight. 4 of them won series championships in 2014. The other 2 have new rides for 2015. They're all powerhouses. They've all won races at some point in some discipline this year, and they're all guests that we have had on at some point this year because they've done something pretty incredible in 2014. It's a great cast, a half dozen of them, Tom. I feel like we're in a bakery, but it's fun. And not only that, but we've still got racing going on this weekend and next weekend that we get to take a look at here going into the Christmas holiday. And not only do we get to spend time with family and friends, but again, there's still cars going around the track. It's a beautiful time of year. And as we hear so much on the radio, perhaps, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, it really is. This is a magical time, no matter what, whether you're talking about racing or not. But to be able to talk racing and be so close to the Christmas holiday, just very excited to be back up here in New York with family for the holidays for the next couple of weeks or so, and working on some things for a brand new show that will be in addition to the PMN lineup after the New Year starts. And we'll be talking more about that through our Facebook and Race Chaser Online website here over the next couple of weeks. But Jacob, some news across the wire within the last couple of days from NASCAR. And I think the biggest story, as a lot of people would say, is that Sprint has decided to end their partnership with NASCAR, the Sprint Cup Series, after the 2016 season. And to borrow one of the funnier segments from the history of the David Letterman shows, is this anything?
Well, that's an interesting question, Tom, to be honest. I'm not sure. It's one of those things where I was not surprised by it at all. But at the same time, you look at this and go, okay, who do you pick up for a title sponsor? So it could be something. It could be a very big something. If NASCAR gets into a quandary of not being able to find a company willing to pick up the dollars and cents for that title sponsorship for the Sprint Cup Series, then you're talking about a really big news item because you're in a bind. But I just don't know yet. I mean, Sprint's given NASCAR plenty of time to come up with a plan, 2 years worth, and we got 2015 and 2016 before we have to think about this. And at the end of 2016, I suppose we'll either have a title sponsorship or NASCAR may be in a panic mode. But it's still news nevertheless. And Sprint's been a great partner to NASCAR over the years. Disappointed to see them go, but at the same time, it opens the door for the potential of some new blood. So we'll see. It's definitely good advertising space for a company willing to take on the project, Tom. And I've heard some names floating around. Some of them are believable. Some of them aren't just yet, but we'll see.
Well, I have too. And of course, everybody has their own opinion, and people start throwing things out that are rather interesting. I mean, I've heard some people floating Napa. I think Napa is probably very, very happy with the other chase right now.
Yeah.
And I don't see them wanting to get involved, and I don't see them doing both. I just that to me doesn't seem realistic. I heard Home Depot. I thought that was kind of interesting. Something about Home Depot Cup just doesn't make sense to me. But very honestly, I think the some of the interesting ones that have been floated about that I think could be some or would fit what you would expect the Sprint Cup Series sponsor to be would be Rolex, which was sort of out of left field, but Rolex, Tag Heuer, that kind of a sponsor, very elite, sort of campaigns that could be developed there. But you start looking at Comcast, you start looking at Google, you start looking at, perhaps even, I don't think Verizon would do it, but you start looking at companies that would still be along the communications line or something to do with digital media that could really take the series and absolutely elevate it to a next level. Sprint started to do that, but then I don't think they really ever finished the job. So it would be interesting to see what a company like Google, for example, would do with that if they had it, because there's just all kinds of possibilities there.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there, and it's possibilities that it seems endless right now, but it's really not, because you got to consider this is going to take a lot. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of dollars. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. I do know this. I've floated out the word interesting a couple of times. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
It is.
That much I do know.
Coca-Cola is the other one that people keep bandying about, and I could definitely see Coca-Cola being a serious player in this too, if they wanted to be, because that would be another type of industry that I think would benefit greatly and could actually do a lot with it. Through advertising and such. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch. The other news item that just came out a little while ago, actually, hot off the press today, really isn't a big news item for those of us who are on the inside, because I think we all saw this coming, 2 or 3 weeks ago, but Bubba Wallace officially signing the contract with Roush Fenway Racing. And I got to tell you, I really think that that's something that could very well be worth watching next year, and we'll talk more about that later. We've got Kyle Souza joining us, and I really want to get to Kyle here for a couple of reasons. The first of which is he's going to get to cover an event that I wish I could go cover, but unfortunately not in the cards for me this year. But Kyle's going to do it for us. You're going to cover one of the coolest indoor events that happens all year on the indoor racing schedule, Kyle, and this one in a little different area, the Battle at Trenton for the indoor TQ Midgets. Always a fun time, and that's coming up here this weekend.
Well, Tom, glad to be a part tonight, and yeah, I'm headed up there tomorrow morning. It's going to be a great show, a 2-day affair. Friday night, the Slingshot will headline with the TQ Midgets, and then Saturday, the Champ Carts will join. But the main focus, of course, the TQ Midgets, almost 70 entries on the list for this weekend. Names such as Ryan Preece, Eric Rudolph, Teddy Christopher, some other indoor auto racers that are ready to have at the Battle at Trenton this weekend. Jacob, we've talked about it a lot. These indoor races are kind of these split races before we get back to the actual pavement outdoor races, and they've put on some amazing shows over the past couple of years. I know you've been to a couple. This will be my second. I went to the Coffee Cup at the Dunkin' Donuts Center for a little while here in Providence. which actually, and it was actually a coffee cup as the trophy. But the Battle at Trenton is going to be interesting. The second time that this will occur this season, back in February, it was Ryan Preece. Tom, I'll throw it to you. Preece has done a lot on the pavement. His indoor skills are there, and I think he's one to watch for this weekend.
I think you just hit on NASCAR's new Cup Series sponsor. It'll be Starbucks. They'll call it the coffee cup. I love that. It's Ryan. Definitely is to have a blast with this, and that kid just gets in anything and drives it. I mean, there's no question that he's gonna have some fun, and he's gonna be, anytime Ryan gets in anything, he's a threat. So, but this is a race that attracts a lot of different types of racers, particularly from the Northeast. I mean, you get somebody like Ryan, you get Louis Ciccone. In the past, when they used to do it at Niagara Falls a few times during the year, you would get a lot of the super modified contingent from Oswego. You get Bentley Warren, you get Jack Hewitt, who ran several of those events at Niagara Falls. And so this is one of those races that really is an event that's fun for the family, and it's very competitive. These guys, it's not that they're racing for big money, because they're racing for pride.
Yeah, and the indoor pride will continue for a little bit. We got a couple weeks before we head to the Boardwalk in Atlantic City.
That's right, yeah.
Not too far from Trenton. And then, of course, we'll be headed back towards the pavement season. We'll be at Speed Weeks and the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona, and then on towards the Daytona 500. But the indoor season is here. We've got a lot of TQ entries for tomorrow night's 220-lap sprints and Saturday night's 40-lap main event. If you're interested in following the race, I will be updating the Race Chaser Online Twitter account with live updates from the Battle at Trenton. So take a look at that throughout the night. It should be a great show with time trials starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow night to see the field for the indoor spectacular that is scheduled to go on this weekend.
Yeah, it should be fun. Lenny Salmons and the bunch from Mariota Racing News promoting that show. It should be a great time, and we thank Earl Krause for making the necessary arrangements and helping us get you squared away, Kuza. And the Race Chaser Twitter account, by the way, at Race Chaser News. At Race Chaser News, you'll get live updates all night long from Trenton. So all weekend long, actually. So definitely excited about what's going on down there. We're going to take our first pause of the evening and continue with a stacked Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports show in just mere moments on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
So you finally arrived at the sweet spot in your life. The kids are raised and gone. You have free time, and it's finally time to do something for you. If you've ever considered owning a Corvette but have been putting it off for years, now is the time to act. Isn't this the time to finally get that Corvette you always wanted and drooled and dreamed over? Well, grab the little lady by the hand and take her to Cooper Corvettes. They're conveniently located on Route 1 just off of I-95 and just north of the Marine Corps base. They have lots of pampered and well-maintained Corvettes in inventory. And if they don't have what you want, they'll find it. From classic Stingrays to modern-day cars, Cooper is your one-stop shop. And speaking of shops, they service what they sell. And even if you didn't buy a Cooper Corvette, they'll service your Corvette anyway. Become part of the Cooper Corvette family. Call them at 703-445-1483. That's 703-445-1483. And on the web at coopercorvettes.com. That's coopercorvettes.com, American pride and countrywide.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant. So why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
Hi, this is Carl Edwards here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You want to make a difference? It's simple. Be responsible. Plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Baby, you can drive my car. Yes, I'm gonna be a star.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
It's time to catch up on the latest from the New England racing scene on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. Here's Tom Baker and Kyle Souza.
Welcome back to the program, and here on the Performance Motorsports Network, wrapping up what has been a wild year, a very successful year, and for our next guest, definitely one to remember, Jacob Seelman and Tom Baker here at the round table, along with Kyle Magda, Kyle Souza, and Tom, right now you and I sitting down to talk with the 2014 K&M Pro Series East champion, Ben Rhodes, and we'll bring him out of the pits. Ben, what a season for you. 5 wins, you just got to celebrate the championship, and I know you and I have talked and said this weekend was really the first time that you've had a chance to let it sink in and be able to celebrate everything that you and your whole team have done this season. So what's it been like now, finally getting to process and compartmentalize a little bit and put this into place that, hey, we had the kind of season that we did, and it resulted in that big trophy that I'm sure is displayed somewhere very prominently right now?
Oh, that big trophy. First off, I want to say thank you for having me on again. And that big trophy, we just built the north wing to our house to put the trophy in, because that north wing is, the most important place for all of us. I'm just that trophy is awesome. It's actually sitting in my living room right now. I've got my ring right here. Looking at it, it's just amazing looking back at the season and having these sweepstakes to look back on and think about the friendships and relationships that I've developed, and then the wins that we've had, the poles, and the laps that we've led, all that stuff that came into play and just made it the dream season that it was. And I can't thank my dream team enough for all that they've done.
It certainly was a dream team this year, Ben, and it just seemed like from the very beginning the chemistry was there, everything clicked. What was it about this group in 2014 that made the run that you guys went on so special, that made this as potent a combination as it was?
Well, I personally think it was the communication that we had. We all worked together so well. There was never a time when we stepped over top of each other. There was never a misstep. And whenever there was a miscommunication or mistake, you know what, we rallied back from it and we made the most of it. And then we learned from it and we moved forward. And that's just all part of what a team does. And we behave just like a team should. And I think our communication developed quicker than a lot of other teams that were out there.
Why do you think that was, Ben? I mean, what do you think is the difference in terms of, and especially because it seems like you really have, over the last couple of years, just personally gained so much knowledge in terms of the feedback part of it. What do you think is kind of the trigger point for that, and why all of a sudden did that start to happen? Is it just the time that you had in the car? Is it being more familiar with the people around you? A combination of both? I mean, what do you think is kind of the genesis of all that?
But one thing that I think was pretty big is Mark, my crew chief, Mark McFarland. He and I have a very similar communication style. We have very similar attitudes, and we have a very similar just way of just behavior. And I think that's pretty cool because we get along so well and we're very compatible. Then if you look at the rest of the guys on my crew, Kevin and Joe, I've had them for 2 years now. Lloyd, my spotter, I've had him for 2.5 years now. Martin, my new tire guy, He's been with Mark, the crew chief, for a long time now. He's worked with him before. And I just think that's really cool how we all have history together, and we all have that experience together that's, I think, built up and just only gotten better with time.
Well, that makes sense, and, familiarity certainly breeds comfort, and that's been great for you. And, of course, as we look ahead to the 2015 season, obviously you've got another major step coming with the announcement that you're going to be running 10 races for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. Talk a little bit about how that happened and came about, and talk about the races that you've been selected for as much as you can give us that information, and just kind of share what the goals are going to be for that, considering that's going to be another whole step for you now.
It's a huge step for me. To run in the national series like this, especially for a team of that caliber, is huge. It's a dream to come true, really, because of the people that I'm running with and the people I'm surrounded by. To share a car with Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, is pretty amazing, to say the least. And I'm gonna use this opportunity as much as I can. I'm gonna take full advantage of it. But I'm gonna be running 10 races, like you said. My first one is at Iowa Speedway, which I was just talking a little bit ago. I think that's gonna be big for me because it's a new car. I don't think I'm going to get to run it before going there with the limited testing schedule. It's a new car. I'm going to be at a track that I'm really comfortable with, and I'm with a new team. So we're trying to keep stuff, as similar and as familiar as possible.
Well, that makes good sense, actually. That's real good positioning to do that. It gives you the track, so now you're just dealing with the car and the new people and just a different series. Take the track out of the learning curve, so to speak, because you've raced there and been very comfortable there. So that's good strategy. I understand that they actually gave you some of the road courses to run too, which is going to be kind of interesting for you because you've never really professed yourself to be a terrific road course driver, although we saw differently last week in the karting challenge. You ended up going from the front to the back and then came back from what seemed like about a day and a half behind and just smoked them all. So I think you undersell yourself on your road course ability a little bit.
Well, I don't know about that. I've only have two road course races underneath my belt in a race car, so it's going to be really new to me, and I'm going to be racing with the best out there, the road course ringers, and then the series regulars and the series champions. So that's going to be really, really interesting for me. I think it's going to get me up to speed really quick on the road courses. Running 3 in one season, and I think that'll get me comfortable with the cars really quick at the same time too. I know road courses in the past have gotten me comfortable with the car, the shifting, and I think it makes me better at restarts on an oval track too.
I know that's one of the things you've talked about all season for you is restarts, and one of the things that you worked a lot on this year to keep yourself up in the mix, even the races that you didn't end up winning. And looking at the wins, obviously we talked about it, 5 wins in your K&N season this year, and it is the season in review. So we'll look back a second here at this, and I'm just kind of curious: is there any of those victories that you got this year that stick out to you, maybe one above the rest?
Well, there's several that stick out. I mean, they all kind of stick out in their own way. But as far as one that sticks out about restarts, while we're on that topic, would be Pensacola, Florida. That's a race that we actually won because of a restart. We were running third at the time. We led, a good bit of laps there. But we were running third at the time. The caution came out. I was trying to save tires, but I wasn't going to have enough time to chase him down. So we were looking for the caution. And I told the guys on the radio, I said, "You better watch out, guys. I'm going to make some magic happen." I don't know if they believe me or not, but we went from third to first and 2 corners. And then led it from the way to the checkered flag. So that was pretty cool.
it was certainly, I think that's one of the moments that might have been one of the most exciting passes we saw from anybody all season. And really, I know you don't necessarily talk yourself up as far as making a whole lot of gutsy moves, but I have to admit I saw a little bit of a different Ben Rhodes this year. I mean, we've always seen you be calculated, but I think this year maybe saw the aggression actually come out in you a little bit more than I've seen in the past watching you. It was really kind of fun to watch because you were fighting a little bit more tooth and nail for it.
And I think that came just with getting comfortable with the car and the people that I was racing with at the time too. You know, I learned my competitors and I learned who I have to race, who I can race clean with and never touch. And then I've learned who, you know, you might have to beat and bang with a little bit. So I think that just comes with learning your competitors, learning your car, and getting comfortable with the team, the season as a whole.
All right, Ben, looking at this now, I mean, so much success this season, trying to carry that into next season. And with it being such a big step up and with it being so much of a gap for you between now and the first time you get to set foot in the Xfinity car for a race at Iowa in May. What's the goal for you? Where do you guys set the expectations as far as those first couple of races? Is it just a matter of seat time and making sure you get a clean couple of races under your belt before you really start gunning for it, or just a matter of tackling each track kind of in its own way a little bit?
Well, you know, never setting foot in a nationwide car before. It's going to be interesting. I don't know what to expect, but I know on Iowa Speedway I have confidence there from my races in the past, my victories there, and I feel good about going there. I feel good about my first race being there, so that gives me confidence. But the season as a whole for me is all about learning. I want to complete as many laps as possible, and I want to learn as much as possible from working in the shop with the guys, to driving the race car, and to being at the racetrack that I'm not racing at and learning from Kevin and Dale and Casey. It's all very important to me. It's just about learning and preparing myself for the future.
And I have to ask this because I know that a lot of our fans that are listening to this show are going to be asking it. Okay, you're driving for Junior Motorsports. So, have you met Junior yet? Is he a cool dude? Tell us what he's like.
I have. I met Junior for the first time last Thursday. So that was really cool. I was just going there to meet my crew chief, actually, my team. But it turned out they were having a big, I don't know what you would call it, a big meeting in the shop. They had Chase there, they had Dale, they had Mr. Hendricks there. They had everybody there. It was really cool. They were celebrating the season, looking back on their 2014 year, their championship season. And they were celebrating it, and I thought that was cool that I could see that and see the tradition that was taking place from however many years ago that it started. And it was just really cool to be a part of that. And then I met Dale. I met Dale. I talked to him for a little bit, and that was cool because, like I said, I grew up watching these guys and looking up to them and wanting to be them one day and race against them, and that was really cool for me, just to kind of tie it all in and you know, see and meet them and know that I'm going to be learning from them this year.
And it's been cool for us, too, Ben, to be able to watch your growth this year and just see how much you've progressed from beginning of the season to now and just where you're going for 2015. And, you know, it's part of the season in review show. It's been fun getting to look back on the successes with you and just be able to get a feel for what you feel about this season. We've enjoyed it, and we also know that it's not possible without a ton of people. And as always, want to give you a chance to shout out to those people. So one more time here in 2014, who makes it happen for Ben Rhodes?
Well, I have to give a huge shout out to Alpha Energy Solutions for everything that they've done for me this season, giving me my truck starts and all of my K&N races. So they've been huge. Also, Alliance Comfort Systems, the Kentucky National Guard, and Park Community Credit Union, who I just shot a new commercial for today. So that was a lot of fun with the Park Community team. They're a great crowd up here in Louisville, Kentucky.
It's been fun to watch, and I know also wrapping up your television web series for 2014 as well. So a lot going on in here into the off season, and just kind of tying up all those last ends.
It is. It's going to be great. We're actually doing our last show tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be at the Galt House, which is downtown Louisville. It's a huge hotel. They have like a skywalk that goes across that's clear next to the river. We plan on doing that in there.
That's awesome. I know that place. That's a beautiful place.
Well, Ben, I know I've said it a few times this season, but it's been a joy to have you on all throughout this year, just to watch the progress and to really now celebrate everything you've done in this 2014 season. Congratulations again on officially being able to take that trophy home with you and display it. The K&M Pro Series East titleist, that's something that'll stick with you for a while now, I know, and just looking forward to the Xfinity Series next year and continuing to watch the growth, and wishing you a safe holiday season and a Merry Christmas as well.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on once again, and happy holidays to you guys as well.
Thanks, Ben. You too.
That is Ben Rhodes, and we are going to step aside for a brief moment here on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports show, but stay with us because we have got more champions to talk to and more seasons to review here on tonight's final show of 2014, so stay tuned. We are back with more right after this on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant, so why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
My very first movie, it was called British Terabithia, and that was a film that a lot of kids loved.
From IamSecond.com.
It felt very cool in my heart to know that I did something nice.
Actress Bailey Madison.
I don't want it to be about me, I want it to be about God. Even though you have an earth father, he is your father, that you can say to him, God, I'm not feeling too well today. Or if it's just, little things like, I feel homesick, or I need you, Lord. I need to feel happiness in my heart. The most important thing is you have to have hope. You have to have faith. God is with you, and God is with you every step of the way. If you give yourself to God and you say, I'm ready to commit myself to you, you will know that God is watching you. He looks down and he goes, I'm very, very happy with what you just did. My name is Bailey Madison, and I am second.
The Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show continues now on the Performance Motorsports Network. And here's your host, Tom Baker.
Welcome back to the program. It's been a long season for our next guest, and getting a chance to talk with 2014 and now two-time K&M Pro Series West champion Greg Pursley. And Greg, first off, glad to have you on. And I know it's been a season that really, maybe the win numbers weren't always there, but it was still a season that was one of your most consistent on the tour. And to end it with a championship, retire on top of the pylon for you going out with your second championship, I know is something that meant a lot to you here at the end of the season.
Yeah, by far. We had 2 wins this year. We probably should have had about 5 or 6, but we'll take the 2, and just it's been a great year. Our goal throughout the whole year was to finish in the top 3 every race, and I think we got close to that. I think that's what we had to do to win a championship. We led the points from the second race on and never relinquished the points lead. So that's what our main goal was, is to be very consistent and try and finish top 3 every race, and that's what we did. And to be able to come out of here with ending Gene Price Motorsports and to be able to come out on top as a champion is the way I wanted to go out. So it's pretty cool.
That's what I was going to talk about. Is you were so consistent through the year. Once you took the points lead, you never gave it up. With the amount of competition in the K&M West Series right now, I mean, that's a pretty amazing accomplishment.
It is. There's a lot of young, up-and-coming talent. A lot of young kids coming up now. So it's going to be a great series to look at here in the future. A lot of good kids, and I think the racing is going to be really cool. Like I said, to be able to pull out the top 3, top 5 finishes was our main goal, and that was the consistency that we needed throughout the year.
You leave Gene Price with 2 championships of your own, but helped the team build a 3rd championship through Dylan Kwasniewski. And you actually, he was one of those kids that you got to race against and race with along the way. How much did it mean to you not only to see Dylan's rise with the team, but to be able to help him and even help some of the other guys in the West Series along the way, being one of the veterans of the tour?
It was really cool to be able to do that. Dylan's a great kid, really fun kid. He learned a lot when he came to our team, and we gave him equipment that he could go out there and drive and race and win races with. So I'm sure that helped his learning curve out fast, and be able to teach him and tell him things and move him along as fast as he could. He won races right off the bat and ran up front right off the bat. So it was really, really cool to be able to run up front with that kid. And I'm telling you, probably every race we raced side by side and raced for wins. So that was probably the highlight of my career, is be able to help him and see him go on to the Nationwide Series. And now, now that 6 years has gone by at Gene Price Motorsports, to have 3 championships there, that's a pretty darn good average.
What kind of advice would you have for the younger racers that are coming up through? Obviously, you had the chance to work with Dylan and some of the other young guys. What advice would you offer to the drivers that are still, say, in the late model series or even, Legends cars or whatever, that are trying to come up through and get to the K&M West, the K&M East, and up through into NASCAR?
That's what the veterans are out there for. Hopefully the newer kids, new guys that come into the series, go to the veterans and ask them for help and ask them for advice, so they can give them their experiences, what they've went through, so these kids, might not make the same mistakes that they did. And that's what I always tried to do. And, my book was always open to anybody that wanted to come ask. So hopefully I help a lot of kids down the line here and a lot of people that have raced in the series, and hopefully I'll be remembered for that, and we're going to go out on top as a champion and hopefully be remembered for a long time in the series.
Being remembered, I know, Greg, certainly going to happen in the K&M West Series. And for you, not going to be racing that you know of right now in 2015, but leaving the K&M West the way you have, is there anything you're going to miss come the end of February when they go back racing?
Yeah, I was telling my wife yesterday on our way here, I said the hardest thing is probably going to be for me when the next season starts, but after that goes along, it might get easier. But I'm going to miss everybody at the track. Racing in NASCAR is like a big family, and when you spend all the time together that you do with everybody on the racetracks and the tour as we go around, you get to know everybody, and everybody's friends, and that's probably what I'm going to miss most, and racing hard against each other and having a lot of good times.
So with you not racing, the question becomes, what's Greg Pursley going to be doing to pass the time back on the West Coast now that you're not going to be racing?
I don't have any plans of right now. I'll take a truck ride or a nationwide ride, but that's few and far between. That's not going to happen. You got to have money nowadays to get in cars. But right now we're going to try and keep Gene Price Motorsports open a little bit and, build a few hot rods and maybe high-performance boats, something of that nature, and try and keep the doors open a little bit for that kind of stuff.
It's been a big year for you, and definitely has been an illustrious 6 years. You go out in the top 10 all-time in wins on the K&N Pro Series West, and 2 titles, and I know so many people went into that, and it didn't happen by yourself, Greg. So I want to give you a chance one more time to thank the sponsors, supporters, anybody that helped make this run possible for you and the 2016.
Gene Price let us put this team together, and he's the reason we did all this. His passion was racing, so he let us, race, and he gave us the resources to do it. We did it right and won races, and Star Nursery has backed me back all the way back into the old Southwest Tour days, and they've been a big part of my racing career also, and Real Water, Ironclad Gloves, Ron's Rear Ends, and Jim Groves Motorsports did a great job with our engine program the last couple of years. No failures. Obviously, we won a lot of races with them, so we got to thank them. But my crew chief, Jerry Pitts, when we hired him 5 years ago, I think he was the biggest help of the whole team. He came in and kind of did everything what he wanted to do and got all the people together, and he was the main part of this whole program. So he's one of the biggest reasons we won all the races and the teams the way they are now. So just got to thank him and all my team, and just like I said, especially Gene. We just got to thank him. I know we're going out, but thank you for the 6 years.
It's been a special pairing, and one that's going to be missed on the West Tour, and definitely means a lot to get to talk with you. Greg Pursley, 2 titles, and I know those trophies going to sit with you for a long time to come. So congratulations. We look forward to seeing you off into retirement, and wish you the best of luck down the road.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you all the fans for that have always supported us out there. We appreciate it.
And Tom, we look back on this now. There's so much we can say about the kind of veteran and the kind of legacy that Greg Pursley leaves the K&N West Series with. But I think the weirdest part for me is, like we were talking about with him during the interview, is the fact that we sit here and the first race at Kern County in March, we're not going to see Greg Pursley in the field for the first time in 7 years. And I'm just trying to wrap my head around that, because when you've done as much as he has in the top 10 all time on the wins list for the K&N West Series, it's almost like if we were losing Jeff Gordon from the Cup Series or a Jimmy Johnson. It's just bizarre for those first couple of races.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and it's, what it is it's almost like he's become part of the fabric of the series. I mean, you just always expect that you're going to see him there, and you always expect that he's going to be contending and up front racing for wins. And so it's what it is it signifies a bit of a passing of the torch to some degree, because over the course of this last 6 or 7 years, we've seen so many younger racers coming in and starting to become competitive, and that's really what both the Pro East Series and Pro West Series have become now. Jacob, is a series that is a development series, and although you still have some veteran drivers like Greg Pursley, most of the conversation in those series is now about the younger guys.
It absolutely is. And, you talk about a guy like a James Bickford or a Dylan Lupton or some of these guys just trying to work their way forward. And it's about the development. And when you see one of those veterans go, it really kind of makes you step back and look at it and go, wow, they did a lot. And I think that's what we're going to see with Greg Pursley. And you talk about young guys, we are going to hear from one of those young guys on the other coast coming up right after these messages. We're going to hear from Scott Heckert on his new plans for the 2015 K&N Pro Series East season. He's got a new team, or an old new team, so to speak. And we'll hear from the young gun coming up right after this on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
In the Pits Media is proud to present its newest partner, WinYourNewCar.com. That's right, you now can enter the #1 American Dream Car Contest giveaway at winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with winyournewcar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
If you're a gearhead, you probably go online to those hot rod superstores, drooling over the chrome and speed goodies until you find just the right item for your muscle car, tuner car, or truck. But what do you do when it comes to fixing the mom mobile? If you're like most do-it-yourselfers, you head to the strip mall parts store and talk to the "Do you want fries with that?" kid behind the counter. Hold on, Bunky. Did you stop to think where those chain stores are getting the parts that you're installing in the vehicle that's used to transport your family everywhere? They get the cheapest suppliers they can find to sell you the parts at bargain prices. Their limited lifetime warranties? What a joke. Remember the last time Mom's car broke down? You heard about that one for weeks. Don't take that chance again. Excelsior Racing has the quality parts you need for your family vehicle. Parts that you can install knowing you're getting the best for your family. Excelsior Racing. Quality parts, personalized service, affordable pricing, fast to you direct. Excelsior Racing. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
Hi everybody, this is Getty Lee for RAD. To many of us, drunk driving is something that other people do. Certainly not one of our friends or relatives would do such a thing. When you see someone who's had too much to drink, about to get into a car, urge them to give up the keys and find alternate transportation. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, you should too.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Now, back to more with Tom and the Speed 77 radio crew. It's the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. My name is Tom Baker, and I am joined all show long by Jacob Seelman and Kyle Magda at the Speed 77 Race Chaser Online Roundtable. Hopefully Kyle Souza will be joining us again shortly. But, guys, I got to tell you, we've managed to keep Kyle Magda silent for almost the first hour of the show. I think that's a personal record for us, but I'm going to willingly break it. Kyle Magda, we go in now to the live interview phase of our show, and we start with a driver who's really got some stuff to talk about, and a driver whose plans for 2015 have already been solidified, which is a pretty nice feeling going into the holidays.
Yeah, I bet he's relieved with that, with the ride being locked up. But Scott Heckert, I mean, what a season he had. I mean, I remember talking to him early in the season, and there was two races he was looking forward to, and I remember he said Watkins Glen and Virginia International Raceway. Guys, what happens? He goes and wins both. So, I mean, that's his forte, and that's what he likes the best. But, I think Iowa back in May, that's when you really started to see him come on later in the season and wound up finishing 8th in the points.
Yeah, he had a really solid run of it, Kyle. And without further ado, we'll bring Scott Heckert out of the pits and have him go full throttle with us. And Scott, first off, want to welcome you back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. But more importantly, let's talk about your kind of new, but at the same time, kind of old gig for 2015. You're basically back with the same team. It's just kind of undergone a little bit of a name change, but 8 Scott Motorsports giving you the opportunity to come back and redux and maybe fight for this championship in 2015.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thrilled to be back with them, and first of all, thanks for having me back on the show. It's always a pleasure. As far as 2015 goes, I'm really excited. It's the same core group of guys on my team, same crew chief, Buzz Bergdorf, same car chief, same mechanics, and some of the things switched around, but I only think will make us stronger. And but it feels good to be back with the same group, and I think we showed during the last half of the year that we certainly had what it takes to win races, run top 5, and I certainly think that's what's going to be key to run for the championship next year.
And obviously, looking at that, you've got to be happy that the road course dates are back on the schedule for 2015 after you had such a go of it at Watkins Glen and VIR this past season. And this show is much about the season in review as it is looking forward. So I have to ask, was there anything else that happened during this season that topped the road course visits, or do those 2 wins stand out for you as kind of the highlights for you this year?
Well, you can't beat winning, is what I'll start off with. It's really hard to beat the feeling of being in victory lane, no matter where it is. But as Kyle talked about earlier, certainly when I thought our season was starting to turn around was the first Iowa date. We ran, I think we qualified 5th, constantly running in the top 5, very strong car, ended up 3rd. And I think at that point we were probably 16th or 17th in the point standings. Just had terrible luck. Seemed like every week something bad would happen to us, and it just started a long run of good finishes. So certainly that's a very fond memory of mine. We had a very fast car that day, competing with my teammate at the time, Ben Rhodes, for the win. So I think certainly that's the memory that really sticks out. I think it really turned our season around. So it was a good memory.
Scott, I was in Watkins Glen when you won your first race. I know that was really important to you with your dad winning that vintage race. And I just want to go back to it since it's our year in review show. You made the winning pass going into turn 1 and 3 wide. And my first thought was, how did you make that stick?
Yeah, well, 12 tires sticks certainly better than 4 and better than 8. So, but honestly, there wasn't much contact. I just, they let off a little early, I think, because they were really worried about each other, and they worried about the drive off the corner. But I knew if I stuck the nose in there and made them, come out of the main groove, that I could make it stick. And like I mentioned in the post-race press conference, there was the previous restart, which I saw that I thought, since I had conserved my tires a little better, that I'd get a better drive on the restart than Ranger. So the second chance I got on the green-white checkered, I just lagged back a little bit so I could have a little momentum going into the braking zone, and just have the ability to get to his door by the time we got to the apex of the corner. And yeah, it worked flawlessly. It's one of those things where you try it because you got to try it to win the race, and pleasantly surprised at how it went.
Scott, you're the first driver to win your first 2 races back-to-back. First time in the East Series since Max Gresham in 2010. And then and even in K&N since 2011 in the West with Dylan Kwasniewski. For you, what win was more important to you? Was it at Watkins Glen or VIR?
Well, sort of personal, definitely Watkins Glen, but career-wise, certainly, I think going 6 days later or 8 days later, I think, to Virginia and sort of reaffirming that it wasn't some fluke because of the tire failures at Watkins Glen. It was actually what we deserved. So I really think it was important for our team and for me to go back and win almost right away. And I do wish we had a few more oval races afterwards because, we certainly had things going on a roll. Ended with third at Dover. So, certainly they helped us stay on a roll, but they both have certain moments that just really stick out to me. So, but I guess short answer would be Watkins Glen was what I really think about the most.
And of course, last week with the announcement that Harry Scott Motorsports is going to partner with Justin Marks, and you're back in the 34 car. When did you first know that you would know of your plans being back in that car for 2015?
We've been talking about it since the season ended, and we knew that if we were going to return to K&N, we wanted to come back with Harry Scott, and because we love the team, we love it feels like a family, and no other team works harder. That's why we get the results we get on the track. So we knew we wanted to be back with them, and once we figured out, sort of our plan, we worked on coming back for 2015, and I think we've known for a couple weeks now, so it hasn't been too long, but it certainly feels great to have it all in writing, and it was probably the best Christmas gift so far this season. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the holidays and you get the plans sewn up, Scott. Doesn't work a whole lot better than that. I know all this has come together and it's not just you. There's a lot of people that go into this, and want to give you a chance to say thank you to the sponsors, supporters. So who makes it happen for Scott Hecker?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, big thanks goes out to Harry Scott. He's a big believer in the young kids, and he's done a lot for my career and for the careers of some other young guys. So, I really appreciate him. He's a great guy. Some thanks goes out to Project Lifesaver. They've been a really great partner for us, and they do wonderful, wonderful things for communities across the United States. So they're great to have on board, and we're really happy that they should be coming back for 2015. And just really happy about the people I have around me in racing. They're big believers in my ability, and that helps progress each year.
And it's been a pretty impressive progression for you, especially this year, Scott. And we appreciate you taking some time to look back on it and to talk with us here, and looking forward to seeing what you can do in 2015. Happy holidays and safe travels this holiday season to you guys. And we'll talk with you at some point before the season kicks off.
All right, excellent. Merry Christmas, guys, and thanks for having me on.
That's Scott Heckert. Coming up, we go to the ARCA Series. Mason Mitchell going to be joining us after these words. You are listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
In the Pits Media is proud to present its newest partner, WinYourNewCar.com. That's right, you now can enter the #1 American Dream Car Contest giveaway at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hands can do incredible things. They made every sound in this piece of music. But nothing compares to using them to help save a life. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. It's called hands-only CPR, and it's recommended by the American Heart Association. Visit handsonlycpr.org today. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
All I wanted to do was just pick up a guitar and sing praise songs.
From IamSecond.com.
Well, when I got to 17, I was playing in after-hours bars, just in a bunch of trouble.
Grammy Award winner Michael W. Smith.
Smoking that first joint and feeling so guilty about it. From there, it was LSD, and your compass sort of just like disappeared. I knew where I belonged. I just couldn't get out. I was very depressed. I went on the floor and just began to shake. And I was just weeping. I was weeping. And I just began to just cry out for God. 12:30 at night, on the linoleum floor of my kitchen, the God of the universe came and wept with me on that floor. I know where my hope lies. It's not being a rock star. I'm a son of the High King of the universe.
Watch Michael's story at IamSecond.com.
Here we go with more of the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show, and it's been fast-paced and it's been fun so far here at the Speed 77 Race Chaser Roundtable. Jacob Seelman alongside Kyle Magda and Tom Baker at the roundtable, and as we continue on here into the second half of our show, we get to go now to the first half of a power duo to kick off this second half, and I have to say, we'll bring him out of the pits right now. Mason Mitchell, this has got to be the most productive 2 weeks you've had in a little while. Not only do you get to celebrate your ARCA Racing Series championship, you get your new hire for 2015 announced, and basically treat yourself to being the youngest owner-driver combination I've seen in major American motorsports in a long, long time. I mean, because you're not much more than barely being out of the teenage stage. How's this feel to have Austin Self officially signed to your team and getting ready to tackle this 2015 season as an owner instead of an owner-driver?
Well, I appreciate all that, and first off, it's a true honor to be on the show again, and these last couple of weeks have been really busy with the banquet, the PRI show, celebrating the championship to cap off an amazing season, and announcing the awesome news here at Mason Motorsports that Austin Wayne Self is going to drive the number 98 AM Technical Solutions Ford Fusion next year, and can't be more excited for the company and for all the guys here that put in such a hard effort and dedicate themselves to building this brand, for the first year and making it successful. And having Austin come on board, I've known him for the last couple of years, racing the ARCA Series, and he showed his capabilities and his true talents. And I feel like we have another shot at it this year. I think it's a realistic goal. Austin's had a good first season. He's raced in a few races in 2013, and then he had pretty much a full year this year, and it's just shown a lot of strides. And I think with the right combination with Mason Motorsports and Austin, and just keep on working hard like we did this year, the sky's the limit.
Well, there's no doubt that Austin is certainly going to benefit, I think, from your experience, especially, of course, this year winning a championship. Let's talk a little bit about the season because, you had a year that I think a lot of drivers would consider to be a magic year. I mean, you just had a year where you were pretty competitive everywhere you went. You were in the hunt for the championship. It came right down basically to the wire, and you pulled it off. I mean, when you went into 2014, could you have possibly foreseen the kind of season that you actually had at the end?
Realistically, no, but that was my goal to go into it. That was the whole reason behind starting my own team, and the one shot I felt like we had left, and that was to go out there and build our team and go out there and try to win races, be competitive, and attempt to win the championship. To be honest, I knew going into it that I felt like there could be struggles and adversity, which there was plenty of obstacles and adverse situations that we faced, but competitively on the track, we weren't ever really, off. We were there fast every weekend, qualifying, practice, in the race, and obviously circumstances, and we all know how racing works, can do a lot of things on the racetrack, but, that's the neat part about everything, how everything came together so fast, but how dedicated and driven we are here. We try to be the best, and that's why we're so competitive everywhere we go.
Well, and that's a real testament to the people that you've got around you, because, as a general rule, you don't just start up a team and have it go out and win the championship in a series like the ARCA series. So that's a real testament to the people that you've got there, to be able to come out of the box strong, and just to be strong all year and pull the championship off in your first year. And now to be able to take that and say, okay, look, we've built this thing. I've got the opportunity that I wanted to take the next step and go up the ladder, but we want to keep this thing going and put someone else in it, give someone else the same opportunity. And, I just think what you accomplished as a team is pretty amazing in 1 year.
Absolutely. Obviously, people is a big factor, and you got to surround yourself. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and the alliances and all the resources out there, from the vendors to performance enhancing, technology. So, we've had a lot of changes through people throughout the year, and especially at the beginning. But there's been a core group of us that have still here from the year ago to when we put it together, that are still here working on stuff for Daytona today. So obviously the people part of it's huge. We got the good core group that built this thing, and looking forward to the future. And like you said, we had a lot of success, and we have something that I feel like honestly is just scratching the surface. I wish I had all my plans put together, and I wish I could go out and run another season, because I just feel like we could just be that much stronger, to be honest. I feel like we just have the knowledge now, the database, the notes to go out there and dominate the season. But I'm really happy for Austin, and I think knowing what we've done and knowing what we're going to add to the table is just going to make us more competitive. And Austin has the confidence, and especially get a new, fresh start, and that's what it takes.
Mason, just going back to your season a little bit, I know that at Pocono in June you raced with Kyle Larson there, and you almost beat him, racing with the Cup driver coming into ARCA. And what was it like driving with the Cup driver, and did it get you noticed by anybody?
I mean, I know a lot of people in the garage area and NASCAR teams and upper ranks of people noticed, and I've heard mentions and stuff like that. Driving behind the wheel and behind at that point in time, I knew I had to do everything I could to try to win the race. We at the beginning of the race, we started side by side, and I found out where his limit was, and I put that in the back of my mind. And then kind of had some adversity in the beginning or the middle of the race. Had to make an unscheduled pit stop, and then there was a late restart with about 10 to go, and we were really aggressive there and went from about ninth to. Well, we went from somewhere ninth to second in one corner, because we made it like 4 or 5 wide going into one, and we just had to do what we had to do to get an opportunity, and that's what it took. And then we beat him on a restart and drove in the corner farther than he did, and he was able to make it work, and held him off till 2 to go. And we were just trying to do everything we can. And first, that was a brand new car. We worked night and day, literally, to get to that race. I remember we were racing and practice day the before on no sleep, and just it showed a lot of how strong this team was, because we went in there with no notes. We went in there with a brand new race car, people who've never been in that racetrack, and just all those unknowns going against. And we have at that time maybe 6 guys here at the shop that obviously they traveled to, going against basically a NASCAR affiliated nationwide team that has tons of people, the engineering support, all the support and resources you need. And we went head to head with them, which it's more of a team pride deal. Obviously, I try to do my part, and I feel like I did a really good job as a driver, but it's the team. We all put it together and went up with the best of them.
And you made your truck debut at Homestead Miami Speedway last month. What was it like running one of those vehicles on the 1.5-mile track?
It was an awesome experience. It's a lot different. Obviously, I have a lot to learn still, a new experience, learning how the trucks react differently than the ARCA cars. A lot different than I expected. I knew they were going to be different, but never testing a truck, never being behind the wheel of a truck, never being to Homestead Miami Speedway before, and it was the first time I ever seen the place was practice day. And learning, communication with all the guys, and because it was kind of a new group, and it was a great experience. I felt like we had a top 10 truck, top 10. I know we had top 10 speed during the whole race. Just circumstances, you have some pit road mistakes, and just everybody was kind of learning because it was a whole new last minute deal, and I totally understand everything, and just I honestly just really blessed for the opportunity, and new energy management solutions company came on board for that weekend to make that whole possible. But hopefully we can get our plans together for next season and figure all that stuff out. But it was an amazing experience at Homestead.
Mason, not looking at the season now, but looking forward to actually this weekend, the Daytona ARCA test. Of course, I've seen the entry list. It looks like you're in a car, and your teammate Austin Wayne Self's in a car. What are some of the things you're looking to get out of that?
Well, one of the cars that we've taken to the test here, we've never tested at all. It's our senior racetrack under our banner, so we're going to learn a lot from that. Austin, obviously, and we're going to be both switching back cars, try to give feedback to each other, and then really working the draft. And I think it's just such a added bonus to have two cars out there working together, and especially there's our teammates, and then the game plan. We can draft together, learn stuff like that by ourselves, and then we can go out there in groups and stuff and draft. And we have a lot of data acquisition stuff, and a good group of guys on the Smithson Motorsports team that are going to try new things. We've learned a lot from the first season, and taking a car that we've never raced or tested before. So that's going to be a good experience to get a notebook for that car, and then we look forward to what we learn there and see what we can learn, because obviously we have the new engine package, the Elmore ARCA motor, so that you'll learn a lot with that, and looking forward to that whole program. I think it's a great initiative for the series and long-term.
And Mason, obviously, you've made it known that you're trying to put together your program for the upcoming year. I know you've said you want to go either truck or Xfinity Series racing, whatever you can get your hands on, basically. And I know it's going to take some to make that happen. What do you guys feel like it's going to take? Do you guys feel like you're close? And then, of course, who made it happen this year as well?
Well, this is an amazing season that we had here, 2014. It was just a lot of hard work by everybody. Thermal Technology Services, Muslim's Applesauce, Wildlife NA of Florida, Applebee's, Neem. Everybody stepped in and helped out at one point during the season, and obviously my family and my the whole team here for everybody's hard work, just to keep on digging in the lows and high times, and that's what made it happen this season. And we're trying to work on arrangements for next year. Obviously, in the sport that we're in, you just can't all rely on talent. We all know that. So, but that's what we chose to do, and I'm not afraid to admit that. And we'll keep on working as hard as I can and try to work on creating relationships out there and marketing partners, and hopefully put some stuff together for the 2015 season.
That's what we're hoping, Mason, and hoping to see you out there full-time in something next year. As always, appreciate your time. Wishing you a safe holiday season and a Merry Christmas, and we'll hope to talk to you here after the new year and hopefully get up to the shop at some point, too, before you guys float down to Daytona to get ready to roll for the ARCA race down there in February.
Absolutely. It'd be my pleasure to give you guys a tour, and Merry Christmas, and have a good night, and thanks for the opportunity again.
And we're gonna flip gears here in a second and actually go from the owner to the driver. Coming up after this business, we're gonna hear from Austin Wayne Self, who takes over the pilot of that 98 Ford for 2015. That's next. First, these words. You're listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
On the air, you may know me as the man about motorsports. Actually, I've been the man about insurance for over 30 years. With one call, I can cover your life, health, auto, home, and business insurance. Recently, I saved a young couple over $500 on their annual car insurance bill. No gimmicks and no green lizard. So if you think your insurer is really your good neighbor who is on your side because he is holding your money in his good hands, think again. Call me, 703-631-8000. I have dozens of insurance companies waiting to give you the protection you need and deserve. It may take more than 15 minutes, but you'll receive sound advice, quality professional service, and an honest opinion. That number again, 703-631-8000. Ask for Larry O.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory.
Watch Tony's story at IamSecond.com.
And now, back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show with Speed 77 Radio's most follically challenged host, Tom Baker.
Keep picking on my hair. Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. My name is Tom Baker, and I am joined by Kyle Magda and Jacob Seelman at the Speed 77 Race Chaser Online Roundtable.
Now too.
Yeah, it is a round table, and that does give us a right to go round and round about your hair as much as we want, Tom. But I'm more excited to go.
Long. It's only five of them.
Yeah, I know. But I'm more excited to go round and round with our next guest here because he was as cryptic as he tried to be on our last show that we had him on. I'm going to take credit for this, Austin Self, because I was picking on your boss during our last segment, and I'll pick on you now a little bit too. But I'm just going to take credit and say I told everybody else at this round table 2 months ago exactly what was going to happen, and sure enough, here you are with Mason Mitchell in the 98 car for 2015, and from everything that you and I have talked about here over the last couple of days, you're not just a little excited about this, are you?
No, I think everybody's kind of had a clue for a little while now. I wasn't allowed to say anything for a long time. It felt like forever, and finally, I think it was last Friday, about a week ago. Might have been Thursday. I think it was Friday. We finally made the announcement that we're going to be driving the 98 Ford Fusion for Mason Mitchell Motorsports, and yeah, I'm super excited. You know, they came out and won the championship last year, and to be able to drive the reigning championship car for 2015 is pretty exciting.
And it's not just exciting, but for you, you saw Mason go out and perform like he did last year. You raced against him. Now you get to race for him, and you get to go out and try to do something that you came close to about 5 or 6 times last year and just couldn't quite get it done. Get a win.
Yeah, Mason's a really great driver, and I've raced against him for the past couple of years, and we have a level of respect as drivers for each other. But as him now being team owner now, it seems to be a little different. But I feel like he wants to win just as bad as I do, and I feel like we're all going to be working really hard. And I definitely think not only some wins, but I think we can win a championship. And I'd love to do it for Mason. I think he's a really good guy, and there's no other team out there I'd rather be with.
Well, I think it's cool, Austin, that you two together form the youngest owner-driver combination in the series. But I want to go back for a second, and I'd like to have you talk a little bit about all that you've learned from Cunningham and the experience that you've had there, because really that's all what has prepared you to be able to come into this situation with Mason Mitchell Motorsports and follow in the footsteps of a champion.
Yeah, 2014, I kind of came in the season a little blindsided. We missed Daytona. I wasn't old enough to race Daytona, and we knew it was going to be a learning year. I'd never been over on the track that was over a mile long. So we had there's plenty of tracks, mile and a half, like Michigan, Chicago. We go to Super Speedway. Well, we went to Talladega and even did some dirt racing. So we knew this year was going to be a big learning year. And we came out with our goal was to be Rookie of the Year, and we were able to achieve that. And along the way, we had some really good finishes. We were able to get the AMTS car up there, and we were. It seemed like every weekend we were a threat to win the race. So I felt like I learned a lot this past year in Cunningham's car. And I feel like it's really prepared me to be able to, jump into a championship car for next season.
What is your goal for the practice session at Daytona? What do you and Mason? He talked about the fact that you guys were going to be switching cars back and forth, trying to. Is that as much an attempt to sort of get to know what each other prefers in a car as it is about actually getting track time on the track and getting used to the track?
Yeah, well, I came down here last year and I was able to do the test. So, Daytona is Daytona. You go out there and it's one thing to drive it, it's another thing to race there. So I think this weekend, we're, as a driver, I'm going to be doing my job and making sure I keep the car straight and down on the yellow line. And I'm sure we're going to be testing, a couple of different things here. But also, the new Ilmore motors should be pretty interesting to look at. And we got some data on board. But, yeah, me and Mason, I think it's really cool to have Mason out there. He did really well last year. And it's kind of, we can kind of compare and look at each of these cars and kind of make sure we're on the right track. So when we come back in February, we'll have all this stuff sorted out, and we'll be able to focus on the smaller things.
Austin, driving for Mason Mitchell in 2015. Also, I saw a picture of the new ARCA car. What are your thoughts driving that? And what challenges are you going to face with that as well?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a really, really cool looking car. First time I walked in the 98 shop, I thought it was a Nationwide car, and I didn't notice it was the new body until I got up close to it. But, I'm pretty excited. I think our sticker package is going to look pretty good on there. I'm excited to kind of see. It's really cool to be part of a change. It's ARCA. I think ARCA's worked really hard to really get this going, and 5 Stars worked really hard to get this going. It's really hard to make a transition like this, and it's just kind of cool to be a part of that. I'm interested to see what it'll be like. I think on the short tracks, I don't think it's going to have a bigger effect, but I heard in 2016 and maybe later on this year, maybe they might start looking into bodies for intermediate tracks and super speedways. So I just think it's really cool to be able to be part of a new transition, something new for the series. I think it's really cool.
Is it going to be a big change for you at all, going from Dodge to Ford?
I don't think it's going to be a big change. I think the biggest thing, is I'm going to have to get used to saying Ford. That'll be kind of different. No, I really like what these guys are doing over here in the 98 shop. These guys ran really good last year, and I don't think the transition is going to be too hard here. I'm just really excited to be able to say, Ford Fusion. I got two Fords at home, so it's going to be nice to be able to race a Ford.
The inner Ford guy in Austin lives. I think that there you go. There's something we're looking at for next year. And I mean, Austin, I give you a lot of grief earlier this year, just asking when would the win come, and it never quite came. And you and I have joked about it a little bit, and even talked about this deal giving you the best opportunity you felt like to be able to go and race for wins and race up front next year. But one moment still stands out to me about your 2014 season, and that was Talladega, where you were so close and could have made the move and didn't, and pushed your teammate at that time, Tom Hessert, to victory lane. And you get to look back on it, and that, I think, was where you jumped out and said to everybody, hey, we're here. We're not just a kid that's here to play. That was the moment, I feel like, where you showed everybody that you were here to contend and here to try and make something happen. And is there anything, going back, anything you might have done differently about this season, or has it just built itself in such a way now where everything is looking up and pushing forward for 2015?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you always look back, and especially the second place finishes, and always go, man, I wish I could have won that race. But I feel like this year is great. I mean, I look at who I'm racing against. I'm racing against guys like Frank Campbell, 10-time champion, and Tom Hessert, Mason. All these guys are really, really great drivers, and to be able to run with these guys and be a threat and race against them I think was really good. And I think every time you get out of a race car and you learn something, I think that's always a positive. I've seen guys that win races and they don't learn anything. So I feel like this year was total success. We didn't get any wins, but the amount I've learned this year is been awesome. I feel like a better person and a better driver. So no, I don't look back and regret anything. Talladega would have been really cool to win, but I pushed Tom in for the win. I feel like this year, with everything I've learned, I feel like we're just a step further, and that win's right there. And I feel like to do it in the 98 cars is going to be better. I feel like last year was a great year. We wanted to come out and get that Rookie of the Year, but I feel like this year, I think it's okay to say we're going to be racing for a championship. I think that's definitely in the sight. I think everybody in the 98 shop is really has their eyes on the championship, just like Mason did last year. I'm sure he said the same thing. I'm sure he said, I wish I could have won a few more races, but he did his job every weekend and made sure he finished and put himself in position to win the championship. And at the end of the day, that's really what I want, and I think that's what the team wants. So as long as we keep learning and keep doing well, I don't feel like we'll have any regrets.
And I know it's looking strong, looking up for you, Austin. And I know, like you said, this year was a big year for you, and I know that's not possible without a lot of people. And before you start this new chapter, I know you've got some thank yous to give to the people who made this past one a big success. Who made it happen for Austin's self?
Yeah, I gotta thank Cunningham and definitely Arca for putting Arca and Scott for giving me a chance to win Rookie of the Year. I think it's really cool to be able to put my name in the history books. But also got to thank AMTS for supporting me for the past few years, and really my whole racing career. Those guys have been behind my back, and they'll be behind our back this next year in the 98 car too. Chad Bryan for being a great crew chief, and Paul Andrews, Bob Melvin, Denny Belknap, everybody there, and I really appreciate everything they did for me this year. And I wish them luck next year, but I hope we can make it hard for them to run up front.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. And Austin, I will say I'm excited for the show that we can have next year when we get you after that first win. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and appreciate the time. Wish you a safe holiday, and looking forward to talking to you when the 2015 season kicks off. That's Austin Self. We are going to take a pause here on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. We're going Mod Squad, and coming up after this, talking with Andy Seiss right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Media sales professionals with agency experience. If you're frustrated with your current position, unrealistic quotas, and inept management, if you're a sales machine and you simply will not take no as an acceptable reply, if you're looking for a rapidly growing company with unlimited sales potential for commissions in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're searching for a high-tech, forward-looking, laid-back, but extremely professional organization who appreciate your skills and dedication, we have your next opportunity. Scorpion Radio Group is building a sales team of self-starters who are motivated. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444 or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. That's 717-749-0444 and ask for Sue.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. Now they're also an official motorsports content partner of Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for all their raw materials, such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much, much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is your #1 source for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the road to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit StockCarSteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. You can also find them on Facebook at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, or call either company toll-free at 1-888-752-7272.
We now return you to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. And here's the guy who lost the hula hoop contest at the last PMN Summer Picnic because he just can't hula hoop. It's Tom Baker.
No, you can't.
I definitely cannot hula hoop. Two left hips. We are continuing our review of 2014 here on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. And we are going to be joined now by another one of the 2014 NASCAR Regional Series champions. In this case, the Southern Modified Tour Series champion, Andy Seiss. You want to talk about somebody that had an amazing year. Andy Seiss certainly fits that bill within his division.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he only got his wins in the first half of the season, but he was scary consistent the second half. Didn't get a win after July 4th, but boy, oh boy, did he ever top five him to death. I think they call that the Ken Schrader theory. I'm interested to see how this goes for 2015 because it's one of those moments where you think, okay, it was a really solid run and excited to see what they can do next year. I mean, Andy's already been joking with his car owner if they won the championship, they needed to go cup racing. So
yeah, well, he got close. They're going ARCA race, and it's really going to be interesting to see how this all works out. You're right, and I know that Andy is just going to knock that out of the park, just like he has everything else he's done in motorsports. We have Andy on the line here. Andy, welcome back to the program.
Thanks. Always glad to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you, and we were just talking about 2014 season that you had and what it's led into for 2015. You got to be pretty stoked right now.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening in life, a huge accomplishment to finally win the championship after coming close and, always having a competitive car with Eddie Harvey and the Ideal Race team, and glad to, get our first one. They say the first one's the hardest, so hopefully they come in dozens now, and, then got engaged and then announced, the birth of Andy Seiss Motorsports, our ARCA team, so a lot going on and keeping myself busy and, wishing for the best.
Yeah, Andy, I want to hit those 2 bullet points in order since you brought them up. First, for anybody that may have missed it, though it's been all over Facebook ever since October at Charlotte, but you used the whole proposal in victory lane with the championship trophy theory, and you said to me afterwards, it wouldn't have worked if we hadn't have won the title.
No, and a lot of people asked me, what was the plan if everything didn't come together, and the truth was there was no plan. Not saying that, Jen didn't deserve every moment of what we had together. I had thoughts of gathering the team up and, maybe to boost morale if we didn't win the championship, which would have been a complete bummer, but say, hey, it was a memorable season and it's not a day wasted. Let's, we want you to be here for this. Maybe something like that, but luckily it all worked out. We got to make a few amazing memories that night. And I joke around with Jen all the time that I just wanted to save on engagement photos. So we got those all done in victory lane, and, been amazing ever since.
And it continued to be amazing. I mean, you were talking about it, Andy Seiss Motorsports, and we've not gotten a chance to talk about this with you actually on the show just yet. So talk a little bit about exactly how this deal came to be. And you guys are taking have taken actually some cars down to Daytona for the ARCA test this weekend. And I'm curious where you see this going and what you guys are hoping to accomplish in 2015.
Well, moving from New Hampshire a couple of years ago, the goal is to just keep moving on in racing with the ultimate goal, running a cup car and running at Daytona and all that. It's a very hard ladder to climb. And Brian Doza, who I race against in the modifieds, I've been helping on his modified. We built him a new car, and he's seen a lot of improvements with that. And he wanted to go ARCA racing last year. So that was my little pet project on the side. We got him an ARCA car. We put it together at the Raymock shop with a Raymock engine. Went testing last winter, Daytona and Talladega. Then we went to the Talladega race. We did get in, learned a lot. And then we acquired a second car. And he offered me the use of the main car. However, I know how expensive it is. And, unfortunately, the car can be the cheap part. And I don't have the funds to actually race myself. So it's a great opportunity where we have 2 cars, 2 motors. If you come down here, you need the second car for a drafting partner in super speedway racing. So I said, well, let's see what we can do, Brian, as business partners, and open it up to, other people that do have the sponsorship, that do have the funding. And at the same time, we can learn about the cars. We can get better. So Brian Doza will be in 1 car. We have a couple really talented drivers in their own rights coming down and testing the cars this week. Again, I'm in search of sponsorship so I can potentially run some races. But if not, we don't want the cars to sit idle. We want to give some drivers a shot. We want to grow as a race team. And beyond this, I'd love to see myself get a nationwide car and trying to make some of those races and run those races. And the ultimate goal of just, racing at NASCAR's highest levels. And this is the first step. So really excited about all of it. It's coming together smoothly. It's a lot to kind of get involved with, but we're trying our hardest. The team was just coming together this week in the shop. My dad was down helping us from New Hampshire. He's coming down to the test. It's a great deal. It's very exciting, and really looking forward to the next couple days.
Andy, the next 2 days will be the ARCA test there at Daytona. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to get out of it?
Well, we got 2 drivers, Matt Fromm and Robert French, 2 very different backgrounds. Matt made some nationwide starts. He wants super speedway experience and drafting and all that. Robert just wants to get his feet wet on big tracks and big cars. He comes from a Legends car background. And for me, I want to get more familiar with the chassis. I came from modified. I've worked on some ARCA cars, some trucks and different things, and getting better with them. And like I said, I just want to grow the team. So the more experience we have, we've got a whole pile of different parts to try, hopefully get the car better, get some speed out of it, and hope for the best. So that when we do race, we give our drivers, whether it's me or somebody else, the best shot possible. So just looking forward to, learning some new roles. I've always been the driver. Maybe I'll be the crew chief and the owner this week and just try and feel it out. But honestly, I think if there's a little bit of downtime, I may throw my fire suit on. Because who are we kidding? It's Daytona. Everybody wants to drive here, and it's definitely something I dreamed about as a kid growing up in racing.
Well, I was just going to say, I can't picture you going through the 2 days of Daytona testing and not at least getting out in one of the cars a few times, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's I'm going out on a limb trying to start this, and there's a lot on the line, so you have to be smart business-wise. But at the end of the day, I go home and sometimes throw on YouTube to kind of unwind, whether I'm watching music videos or racing or this and that. And when the Daytona 500 clips come across my computer and I'm watching it, I get fired up. You can't lose sight of that. You want to race Daytona. It's the biggest. It's the best. And, but in all honesty, the racing takes some backing and some funding. I'm working hard to get it for myself. So it's a great opportunity for somebody to come in. If I don't get it, if they get it, because I'm treating this as I'm going racing. We're building parts. We're working late into the night. I'm trying to give it 100%. So I'm really hoping to secure something by Daytona. Like you said, it's Daytona. It's huge. It's everything I watched on TV. I remember in 1998 watching Dale Earnhardt win Daytona, just being as excited if I won it. And never thought I'd really get the opportunity to drive on the track. Last year I drove on it my first time and hoping to put something together to be able to race myself.
Well, I know that you haven't gotten this far by yourself. So before we let you go, we're going to give you one last opportunity for this year to give some shout-outs.
Yeah, obviously we had an amazing year with Ideal Racing, and I wouldn't be anywhere where I am without, great support from Eddie Harvey, my modified car owner. And, his business is Phoenix Pre-Owned Motors, Ideal Auto. The Raymock racing engines we've had, my whole race team for being just so supportive this year. My parents, everybody. It's been truly amazing. When you look back onto what 2014 meant, like you said, it'll be a championship, an engagement, the birth of a race team, and hopefully it'll be around a long time. But looking forward to getting back, on the big tracks of Daytona, but also just back to my roots and running the modified some more with the guys that, we're just so dedicated this year.
We wish you all the best with the testing down there, and certainly in 2015, it's been a blast to be able to spend some time with you throughout this year. And we're looking forward to doing much more of it as we go into next season.
Awesome. Thank you guys again for having us on, and I love everything you do with the show.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family, Andy Seiss, and thanks again for being on the program. And with that, we're going to step aside. When we return, some closing laps for 2014. You're listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Media sales professionals with agency experience. If you're frustrated with your current position, unrealistic quotas, and inept management, if you're a sales machine and you simply will not take no as an acceptable reply, if you're looking for a rapidly growing company with unlimited sales potential for commissions in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're searching for a high-tech, forward-looking, laid-back, but extremely professional organization who appreciate your skills and dedication, we have your next opportunity. Scorpion Radio Group is building a sales team of self-starters who are motivated. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444 or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. That's 717-749-0444 and ask for Sue.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. Now they're also an official motorsports content partner of Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for all their raw materials, such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much, much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is your #1 source for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the road to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit StockCarSteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. You can also find them on on Facebook at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, or call either company toll free at 1-888-752-7272.
Now, back to more with Tom and the Speed 77 radio crew. It's the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Is that really the last time we just heard that for 2014?
Yeah,
Holy
it really
crap.
is, Jacob. It really is. It's hard to believe that we are down to our checkered flag segment, the final laps of the year, and man, what a year it's been.
It's been an amazing year, and there's so much to look forward to, so much to look back on. We talked about some favorite moments on Monday night from the national levels. I'll toss one out from the touring levels here, just that stands out to me a little bit, and it was that brilliant wheel and modified tour race at Loudon in I think it was the July race.
Yeah,
and Magna might be able to back me up on this. The race with 35 lead changes. I think that was the July race. Yeah. That was the race that Bobby Santos came out of nowhere in the final corner and said, "Hey guys, I'll take this."
Yeah, that was a big weekend for the Wheel and Modifieds. Also, the inaugural Wheel and All-Star Shootout the day before. So, I mean, when I was there, the Modifieds stole the show. 2 great finishes and not really much else you could ask for.
Hey, and the shootout's coming back next year, Tom. All of the touring series announcing their schedules for next year. Couple of new venues. I like the Motordrome date for K&N East. The All-Star Shootout's back at Loudon for the Wheel and Modified Tour. Thompson's getting a 4th date back on the Northern Modified Tour. The Southern Tour's going to Hickory. It's one of those things where you look at this and go, what more could we want? This is great.
Yeah, it really is. And I think both series are in pretty good shape for next year in terms of the Northern and Southern Wheel and Modified Tours. And, of course, K&M Pro East as well. Yeah, I like seeing that. It's always fun to see them go somewhere either they haven't been at all or haven't been in a while, because it makes for some nice variety, and certainly a modified race at Hickory. I mean, you and I saw the Coma
race,
series, back in the spring this year. I have never seen the NASCAR tour there, but I can't wait. That's going to be a great show. Hickory's a fun track, and it's a challenging track, and I think the modifieds, I think the tour guys are going to put on a phenomenal show there.
Oh, I think it's going to be a fantastic show, and I think maybe in the dark ages of the Southern Tour, way back at the beginning, 2006-ish or so, they actually did go to Hickory, but it's been a long, long, long time, if memory serves me right. So it'll be great to see him go back. Obviously, that's our home track, Tom, for all intents and purposes. I mean, discounting, of course. Yeah, I was going to say one of them. The home short track, let's go with that. Sure. I mean, it's literally my home track, because I could drive 5 minutes from my dad's house and be there. But I'll digress and say, while we're talking about new venues for 2015, Kyle Magda, I'll throw one out there, and if our esteemed West Coast correspondent DJ Everett happens to be listening, he's going to love me for shouting out to him for this, because the K&N West Series is going to his home track, Meridian Speedway, and I've already been told that he's actually going to get to call that show. I'm inordinately jealous, my friend. I'll throw that out there. But Magda, it's a 1/4-mile bull ring, and guess what? It's not built like Bowman Gray. It could actually put on some great racing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so many good additions to that schedule, and it's great he's gonna be doing that, because to call a K&N race, I mean, that would be just outstanding, just to have that opportunity to go out and do that.
Oh boy, there's just so many good things on all the schedules for 2015. I'm excited. There's some dates close to home for all of us, really, for 2015. So it's just going to be interesting to see to see what we get. And Tom's over here nudging me, saying 1/4 miles too short for full-size stock cars to begin with. But Tom, that's why they built Bowman Gray.
Oh, I know. It's just that the heavier stock cars just have such a problem passing each other. They're just so big and wide. But Meridian, as you said, is not constructed the same as Bowman Gray. Meridian will be a track where hopefully instead of crashing each other to pass, they'll only have to just do the root and gouge thing.
Yeah, they don't have to do the root and gouge as much because there's banking for starters.
Yeah,
there's banking
that
at
definitely
Meridian,
helps.
It's wider. It's wider than Bowman Gray at the stadium is as well. So one of those things where you just sit and go, how's this going to work? But you got State Line Speedway, which is another quarter-mile track, and Meridian Speedway, both in Idaho. So the potato eaters have got two big races for the K&N Series in 2015, and it's going to be fun to watch, I know, down to one date at Phoenix, which really surprised me. The season finale going to be there, but they're not going to open the year at Phoenix, which is, I was kind of scratching my head at that one. But for all intents and purposes, we can look ahead, and it's going to be fun to look ahead as the new year progresses. But obviously, the look back tonight, Tom, it's just been a lot of fun, and all of our guests that we had on over the course of this show each had fantastic seasons in their own right. Each made it extremely fun to watch them race over the course of this season. And each, I think, have really, really big plans and big goals for 2015.
Well, except for Greg Pursley, whose big plan is at this point will be to kick back in the white rocker on the front porch, I think. And but no, it's and if you think about it, Austin Self was not a champion this year, but he is now driving for a championship team. And Ben Rhodes was a champion, but is moving up a step and driving 10 races for a championship team. So, even the drivers who weren't necessarily champions are all poised this year to make that leap. And so, yeah, it's been a phenomenal season, and really want to thank all of the folks from Stock Car Steel and SRI Supplies for working with us and partnering with us to make this show happen. And also, of course, to Cougar and Bob Steele and Susan and everybody at Performance Motorsports Network as well. We are looking forward to going into 2015 with a whole year on PMN.
Oh, I'm excited about that, and it's going to be great fun. Magda, normally we joke about you breaking the universe, but I'm going to let you talk one more time in 2014. Any final thoughts on a great season and a great year, just in general?
Well, guys, since the whole thing kicking me off earlier, actually, I've been on the whole entire time, so just to throw it out there.
Yay.
But just a few thoughts I just want to end with the season. It was a good year for me. I know I said that on Monday, but just there were some things that came up. I joined Race Chaser back in July, and that was really life changing for me. And I think we have a lot to look forward to here in Pennsylvania next year. I mean, of course, we have the K&N East Race and Motordrome. We have the NASCAR dates at Pocono next year. We even have super modifieds at Jennerstown Speedway in August as well. So I know Tom's looking forward to that. So. There's just so much to be thankful for, and Clearfield CMB Raceway Park, the Baneys are owning it again, and just hoping so much happens, and there's gonna be just so much racing here next year. And one more thing, and before my last thing I'll say is for Nazareth Speedway, I've seen some pictures, and they haven't raced there in 10 years, but I'm just hoping somebody could hopefully save that track.
I've said that about Nazareth, North Wilkesboro, and I guess I'm saying it about Rockingham again. So we'll see. Lost Speedways, that's an initiative that needs more press. But alas, conversation for another day, and that another day is going to be 2015 when we return here for another round of the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show to kick things off anew the first Thursday after the new year. We will be back. I believe that's going to be January the 8th when we return here on the Performance Motorsports Network. So until then, Again, a thank you to all of our guests, Mason Mitchell, Austin Self, Andy Seiss, Ben Rhodes, Greg Persley, Scott Heckert, and for all the staff at Speed 77 Radio, Race Chaser Online, and the Performance Motorsports Network, Tom Baker, Kyle Souza, Kyle Magda here with me at the round table, and all the guys from the Monday Night crew and everybody that makes it happen behind the scenes as well. Bob and Cougar, like Tom said, we couldn't do it without you guys. I'm Jacob Seelman, reminding everybody out there, guys, keep it off the wall and out of the snow until we meet again. And for those of you who are going to take in some indoor racing, Susan and I will just see you at the racetrack, January 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Be here. And until then, have a safe racing holiday. Good night, everybody.
You've been listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Tonight's show is brought to you by Stock Car Steel and Aluminum and SRI Supplies. For all of your racing needs, visit stockcarsteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. Keep up with the latest motorsports news every day on Race Chaser Online. The Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com, a member of the Scorpion Radio Group, Inc., and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section on the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-hosts, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or the marketing partners. Be listening again next week for more great motorsports programming right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.